ghastly, isn't it? You sit down and read that report and it generates a whole series of emotions. It generates of anger, frustration, embarrassment. It generates some pride as well, which may sound odd, but it's our men and women who care about the policing of London who've given most of the evidence for that report to Baroness Casey, which is a testament to their commitment. But most of all, it generates resolve. I've been really clear in my 6 months as Commissioner about probably more outspoken than anybody else in the sort of last few decades of policing about the need for reform. And my resolve and our collective resolve will only get stronger. The other thing I should say, though, is I need to reaffirm my apology to Londoners. We've let Londoners down and we've let our own front line down. And this report paints that vividly. And as I've said several times, I'm deeply sorry for that. This report, the diagnosis is that I agree with it. It's not simply the ghastly fact that we have racists, misogynists and homophobes in the organisation. But actually, it's also about we've got systemic failings, management failings, cultural failings, which has given them more licence to operate than we ought. I'm absolutely determined that on my watch, and I know the vast majority of my colleagues support this, that we will become a properly anti-discrimination organisation that's truly anti-racism, anti-misogyny and anti-homophobia. And the fact that we're not is deeply frustrating, and as I say, I apologise to those who suffered as a consequence. I accept her diagnosis about the racism, misogyny and homophobia in the organisation, and also that we have these systemic failings, management failings, cultural failings. I understand her use of the term institutional. It's not a term I use myself. I'm a practical police officer. I have to use language that's unambiguous and is apolitical. And that term means lots of different things to different people and has become politicised in recent debate over the last decade or so.
So you don't accept it then?
No, I accept the diagnosis. The bullet points that she puts in her report, in her diagnosis, I fully accept them. And I commit that we will be anti-racist, anti-misogynist, anti-homophobic. We are determined to deal with these issues.
Right. Are you sure that in your ranks there aren't other murderers, rapists, domestic abusers?
We are doing everything we can do to reduce that risk. Clearly, the cases of Carrick and Cousins show failings in policing in terms of how we vet and how we monitor the integrity within the organisation. London is a big, complex city. It's not surprising it's got a big, complex organisation policing it. If we go into some messy, structural chopping up of a big organisation, it won't help the policing of London. And I would also say it would actually slow down reform, because all of that structural realignment, it doesn't deal with the factors that she calls out, which are about quality of service to victims, the way that frontline officers are supported and able to serve them, and the discrimination in the organisation.